All right, guys. Paul Singh, the Market Speculator, with the trade report for Wednesday, November 7th, 2018. Elections are out of the way. We don't care about the actual result of the elections, at least for trading. Maybe politically you do. But for trading, we don't care about the result. We care about the price action, and that's what we're going to be monitoring now. We got those out of the way. That's a good thing for us. Now we want to see how the market reacts. The initial reaction has been positive. You can see here SPY bouncing up here, almost 1%. I think it's at 0.75%. But the key is we're over another key resistance level. And remember, as this thing has bounced down, or not bounced down, but the big move down, on the bounce, we've been watching resistance levels. We broke the 9. That's a slight positive. Now, if we break the 200-day and hold, that's even a bigger positive. Again, we don't bet the farm and get very bullish, but we go from bearish to neutral here, as long as we hold this level. Now, this doesn't mean we can't have a bounce that fails. Look at this first bounce here in February. It reached all these resistance levels and then retested. So this really doesn't mean a whole lot yet, excuse me, but it does, at least short term, give us a positive. We could at least play to the 50-day moving average. And then if we cross a 50-day, that would be really good. So that's what we're watching for overall. Now, specifically today, we want to see if these levels hold. Do we break that back down below the 50 or the 200, or do we hold this level? Oftentimes that initial reaction is not what the reaction is going to be. So we want to see today, does this level hold? If going into the close, it does hold, I will likely add one long position. It might be an index play. It might be a stock. Not sure yet. We'll wait and see how the price action is going. But slowly, I'm not going to add 3 or 4 positions. We just slowly take it, as we start bouncing up here. Now the Qs, same thing, right at the 200-day moving average. So we're watching that closely, and IWM is lagging here, down up 0.3%, while the others are closer to 1% pre-market, but still over its 9. A long ways to go to get to its 200-day moving average. Our current position, Lulu, dipped down a little below our entry, 141.50. We're at 141.13. We want to see it hold the 9 and obviously then break through here the 50-day moving average. I'm watching home builders. Let's look at Nail here. Has bottomed out here. I think we talked about this before. Has bottomed out, holding the 9. Actually, let's look at the underlying, which would be XHB. 1 second here. XHB holding the 9. We want to make sure it holds the 9 here. If it does that, and what I really like about home builders and that is different than a lot of the other bounces is the volume coming in. Look at this green volume. There's some real interest in here versus something like, say, semiconductors, which doesn't have that huge volume. We could go to a lot of these financials, is actually pretty strong, but not compared to what home builders are doing. We also like retail, and we're seeing good volume in retail as well. Let me actually pull up XRT. Sorry, wrong. Anyway, retail. We'll look at the triple leveraged. Watching that closely as well. Let's look at the FANG stocks. Facebook is right at the 9. If it starts to bounce off the 9, we could potentially take that. Netflix is the one I really like, and maybe I'm a little biased here, but it's because it's the only one of the 5 that really had strong earnings and then failed. So Netflix holding up here. Amazon is the other one. Here, if it gets up over the 200-day moving average, that would be a strong move as well. I know you guys don't like to trade these really big stocks, but even if you can only get 5 or 10 shares of it, if it runs to 2,000, you're still going to make out well. Google, the one I'm probably laying off the most, and then Apple. I am going to look for a potential play in Apple. If Apple can fill the gap here, this is going to be the key for us here. So watch this level closely. I'm going to ignore the 9. If Apple can fill this gap, we'll call it 207.50. If it gets above that level, I likely get into Apple. That will negate this move down. And then we'll look for potentially a fill up here as well. If you're really cautious or conservative, wait for this fill up here. But I'll take it on this one here. So 207.50. So keep an eye on Apple as well. The rest of our focus list is exactly the same. A couple I want to point out is Habit. Is back up over its 50-day moving average. I think you can enter right here. Alta as well has broke to highs. And we've been watching Alta at I wish I'd never stopped out of it. But we're at highs now, potential entry there. And then Twilio is gapping up on earnings. Now, I usually don't like to enter the day of, but I think this is one we could consider as a day of entry. So we'll watch Twilio as well. And what I really like about Twilio is it IPO'd in 2016 and had recently broke the IPO high and now has tested and held that IPO high with good earnings. So I think Twilio could be one that makes a run going into the end of the year. So either enter here or wait for the high breakout, one of the two. All right, guys, so a lot to watch today. We'll see how the market reacts, and hopefully we can take a long position or two.